hello, my wise youth people, my wise youth family, everyone that is watching us today. We want to give you all a special welcome to Wise Youth Unplugged.
Hey, everyone.
And I have a special guest today. Her name is Kimberly. She's here joining us today. So, Kimberly, tell us a little bit about yourself because the people have never seen you before. So,
Okay.
The people here know you, but the people on our live stream don't. So, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so first off, my name is Kimberly. I've been at the church for about 2 years.
2 years.
I mean, 1 year.
No, I don't know if it's 2 years, but if it's 2 years,
I
that's.
don't know. I think it's been 1 year. 1 year.
I think maybe a year and a half.
I don't know,
maybe.
but I've been here.
That's a long time. It
and-
doesn't even feel like it.
Right. I do media. I help out in media, and yeah, that's just me.
That's a little bit about Kimberly.
A little bit about me.
So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe to our YouTube. Now that you're here on YouTube watching us, if you're watching us on Facebook, go ahead and like the video, go ahead and like the page, all of that good stuff, so that you can get updates of whenever we're going to have another live stream or whenever we're doing an Unplugged, that you can get that notification to be here with us.
Yes.
Today, we have a very interesting topic and a very... I guess, intimate topic because we're going to be sharing a lot of our childhood experiences and things that we went through when we were younger. The topic is about why me. So this topic is basically, I thought I turned off the mic. This topic is basically, we're just going to be sharing some things that we've experienced in life that made us think, why is this happening to me? Or God, why are you making me go through these things? And we're also going to be sharing what we learned from every experience, because every experience that we go through or everything that we have to go through in life also teaches us something. So it's not like we experience anything and we don't learn anything from it. Anything?
Yes. So we'll be just speaking about, our situations that we've been through and giving y'all a little more of our life.
Right. So first we want to go ahead and, first, I forgot. So y'all know how I am. I always start with a lipstick check. But since we are in winter time, we have to start with the Carmex check, okay?
Yes.
Because we don't want to be talking to you all with chapped lips, dry lips. No, we don't want to do that. So
I forgot mine, so they a little crusty, but don't mind them. We'll be fine.
So, I'll do it for both of us.
Right, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Carmex check, okay? Not lip gloss check anymore. Lip gloss is in the springtime and in the summer. And Carmex is in the fall and winter.
It's that season.
So just letting you all know, just a little, hygiene, tips. So we're going to start with a the Bible verse that basically is going to tie all of this together.
Yes.
And it's going to be in Isaiah 55, 8 through 9. And I'm going to have Kimberly read it once our people find it on their Bibles.
Okay.
So we're just going to give them a minute. And it's in Isaiah 55, 8 through 9. You can go ahead.
Okay, so it says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts."
Okay, so that right there is showing us that this is not our life.
Yes.
This is not our decision. This is not what we think that we have to do, or we think that this is the way that it should go. But it says it right here. Your thoughts are not your thoughts, and your ways are not your ways. God is telling us that the way that everything needs to function is the way that I want it to function, not us, not how we want it, but how God designed it and how God wants it to happen. Is there anything?
Yeah, so something that I got here was where it says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts," and we ask why, but it's because we think about the things of the world and the things of our flesh, because the thoughts of the God for our life are good, not bad,
So sometimes we we want to live by whatever it is that we think is supposed to happen in our lives, and God is like, no, this is not how it's supposed to go. And we understand that that's how it is because of the things that happen and because of how we experience those trials and tribulations, how things that we want to go our way don't go our way, no matter how hard we try, no matter how organized we are, no matter how we sit down and try to plan our lives, sometimes it just doesn't go the way that we want it to go.
Right.
And that's because God is in control of everything. He's the one that knows the beginning and the end. He's the one that knows everything that we're going to experience in life and why he's going to put us through those things.
Yes. And then another thing, we often we don't think about, in the end, maybe this will benefit us in a way. We think more about, the negatives instead of the positives in the situation.
We think in the moment that we're going through it, we think, oh, this is bad, this is horrible, this is the worst situation ever in life. But then once we go and pass, and I know a lot of people have experienced that, once you pass a certain situation in your life, you were like, you think, and you're like, that it wasn't even that bad. Like, why was I tripping, or why was I even going crazy about the situation? Because you learned, okay, let's say you had a friend, your friend maybe betrayed you.
Right.
At the end, okay, she betrayed me because maybe she was a toxic person, or maybe she was gonna do something to me worse.
Right.
And God, did something to basically have that person betray you so that they can leave out of your life.
Right.
So everything is for a reason.
Yeah, everything happens with a purpose.
So here we have a couple of definitions for you all before we start getting into our stories about what we wanted to bring to you all, because they're long stories. I have a whole almost 2 pages here, and I know Kimberly has
I got
almost 2 pages.
A couple pages.
So I want to start with the definitions of 3 words. And those 3 words are basically what we're going to be talking about in our stories. The first one is tribulation. And I wanted to give you all the definitions so you all can know the technical definition for it. And what I have here is distress or suffering of any kind resulting from something that feels unfair or any persecution. And then I have a little synonyms here, which we learned from our pastor. Our pastor preached to trust in our tribulations about 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And so some of these things, of course, we're going to incorporate what we learned into what we're talking to you all about. And so he gave us some synonyms of tribulation, and some of them were pressure, some of them were persecution and problems. So a tribulation is anything that we are experiencing in our lives that may seem unfair to us, or anyone that is going to come up against us, any persecution from any, let's say, family, friends. And persecution is basically like someone coming against you in any way. Like, let's say you're trying to level up in something or get a new job, and someone is like, oh, no, why you got a new job, or why is this going good for you? So that's basically an example of what persecution is. And so then we're going to go ahead to trial, and I'm going to let Kimberly let you all know the definition of trial.
Okay, so trial is a test of faith, patience, or stamina through the subjection of suffering or temptation. And it's a little synonym to, kind of sum it up. It takes out the best or worst in us.
And that's a good definition. A test of faith, that just tells us everything. Like, a trial is literally testing our faith, testing our patience. It's telling us how we're going to act in certain situations. And we need to be able to pass those trials.
Yeah.
And then the last one, of course, we need to trust. And trust is knowing that someone has your back. And this is my definition of trust. The other 2, I got it from the internet, but this one is my definition of trust because I feel like this is the best way that I can understand trust. And trusting someone or trusting in something is knowing that someone or something has your back in any situation or process you might be going through. So God has our back in anything and in times that we feel alone. So basically, trust, we know that this person is going to be by us. We know that this person is going to always have our backs no matter what situation we're going through, no matter how we're feeling, no matter what we may be experiencing, in the good and the bad. This person is always going to be here, and we can always speak to this person about our troubles, about our issues, about anything that we may be experiencing.
Yes, and then also as a teenager, I don't know, those years are where you feel like, I can't tell my mom because she's going to get mad. I can't tell my dad, he's going to whoop me or something. So that's that's when you should know, you have God. And at the end of the day, you should also confess So, first tell God and then, work your way up to your parents.
Right.
But, yeah.
Right, but just understand that God is always there to listen to us. Like,
Yes.
whenever we feel like we can't go to a physical person to go and say, oh, this is what's happening, first we need to talk to God, and God is, of course, he's going to be there. He's going to listen to us. He's not going to be there to judge us. But,
Right.
of course, we have to go to the people on earth that are our
Right.
authority, and we need to tell them this is what's happening, because it doesn't make sense for us to only tell God and not
Yes.
tell the person or our parents or whoever we have a problem with what is happening.
Right.
So I think we got all the technical out of the way.
Yes.
We got all of that out the way. So now we're going to be talking about some experiences, some of the situations that Kimberly and I have gone through in life that have taught us something in our lives. So I have a lot here, but Kimberly, you can ask me any questions. You can interrupt me whenever you want to interrupt me. Give me a sign, and I'm going to stop talking.
Right,
so first I'm going to share some of my experiences, and then Kimberly is going to go ahead and share some of hers. So I'm going to start from the beginning. So these are things that happened in my life that I've asked myself, why is this happening to me? Or God, why are you I'm not doing this to me, but why are you allowing this to happen in my life? And of course, I was young, so of course I wasn't asking God, why is this happening to me? Because I don't even think I had like a concept of what God was or who God was. Yes. But now that I'm older, I analyzed all of these things, and now I understand why I experienced the things that I did experience. So I have the first point here that I remember, the first trial that I ever remember that I had 2 near-death experiences in the beginning. I have another one, but I'm going to be telling you all those 2. So in Panama, I was born in Panama, and I lived there for, I don't even remember when I came to I came to the United States maybe when I was 4 or 5. So I was basically raised here, but I remember some of my life in Panama. So the first trials and tribulation that I feel like I've experienced was I had 2 near-death experiences. One was drowning, and one, well, let me explain the drowning part first. So I was on a boat. It was like a family outing or something. I was on a boat, and I remember being on the bar. I remember being in the water, and something happened, and the boat flipped.
Oh, wow.
The boat flipped. I was, little. I was small, so I flew somewhere. And, I didn't have a life jacket or anything. I guess they thought it was safe for me to be on the water without a life jacket. But I didn't have a life jacket, and I remember flying somewhere, and I remember literally sinking.
Oh, wow.
And I was young, but, I guess the trauma of it, I still remember it. And I was drowning, and I remember that I was, like, looking up, and I remember I was, like, getting pulled down. And next thing you know, someone lifted me up from the water, and I remember coming up and breathing, and then I got knocked out of their hands again.
Oh, wow.
So basically, I was drowning twice. So that happened, and of course, some of these things I remember, and some of them my grandmother told me. My grandmother was the person that was there with me, and she told me, what happened. So that was one of the situations that I had in life, drowning, and then the other one was a near snake bite. So she told me about this, and I kind of remember it. I was in the bathtub. And basically, I was pointing to something. My grandma was telling me that I was pointing to something, and she didn't know what it was. Of course, I couldn't talk, so she didn't know, but I was pointing, and I was panicking. And she was like, what's going on? What's going on? When she looked, like, I guess, under the bubbles and stuff, she saw that it was a snake.
Oh, wow.
And so basically, I was about to, get bit by a poisonous snake. So those are the 2 death experiences. The next situation that I remember was my mom leaving to the United States and leaving me in Panama. So I was left with my grandmother, and my mom went to a whole different country. And in that moment, I was like, okay, why did my mom leave me? Or, why am I here alone? I have my grandmother, but it's different not having your mother. And so, I used to ask myself, why am I here? Why is she over there? Like, am I ever going to see her again? Those things. Next was my move to the United States. Mind you, this was a whole illegal transaction, like illegal. So when my mom was telling me the story, basically I used one of her friend's daughter's passports.
Oh, wow.
And I passed by basically her. So basically me and the little girl, I guess we looked alike. And so I used her passport, literally. I used her passport, and I used her name. I wasn't Kathleen at that time. I was whoever the little girl was. And and so that's how I got to the United States. I used someone else's passport, and I got here. But when they were telling me the whole situation, it was funny because I had a necklace. Something Panamanians do, they want to put your name all over your body. So I had a necklace with my name on it. I had little clips with my name on it. I had earrings with my name on it. I had rings with my name on it. I had everything with my name on it. And so a funny thing about that day was that my grandmother was putting all of the names on me. And I'm not supposed to be Kathleen. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm using someone else's passport, so why are you putting Kathleen all over my body? And and I told her, and I was young, and I told her, why are you putting, Kathleen on me? I'm not Kathleen today. And she was like, oh, right. So that was a little funny experience.
Yeah, you saved that. You got saved right there.
That happened. So that was my move to United States. And now, now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, why did all of this happen to me? Why was I about to die 2 times? Why did my mom leave to the United States? Why am I here now?
Yes.
And all of these things you ask yourself, like, why me? Why am I moving from the place that I was born to now a whole different place miles and miles away? We're going to keep going on the list. I'm going to try to move fast. The third near-death experience, I came to the United States, and I guess I had an experience with witchcraft. Someone did witchcraft on me. And it's not that person wanted to do witchcraft, but it's called evil eye. I'm not sure if you all know about it, but the evil eye is basically when someone with like a strong evil spiritual sight looks at you and basically they do witchcraft on you without knowing. Or some people know, some people don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but that happened to me. And when that happened to me, my mom told me that I used to faint. I used to faint, like literally. I would be good, and the next thing you know, I would faint. They would take me to the hospital. Nobody would know what was going on with me. The doctors, no one knew what was going on with me. And so, like, it was a situation that was basically a desperate situation for my mother because she was trying to see what's wrong with my daughter, asking the doctors what's wrong with my daughter, and no one would, know what was wrong with me. They said, I guess she ended up speaking to someone, and the lady told her to lick my hand. When she licked my hand, supposedly when she licked my hand, if it was sour, then that means that person did witchcraft on me. If it wasn't sour, then that means it was basically a whole medical experience. So my mom licked my hand, and it was sour.
Oh, wow.
So from that basically point, we went through a whole, I guess, ritual. At that time, I didn't understand anything that was going on. And, of course, my mom, she was desperate. She didn't know we were doing a whole ritual. So supposedly for that evil eye witchcraft to get off of me, they had to do a whole ritual to take the spirit away from me, I guess. But of course, she didn't take me to the church. She just went by what the lady was telling her. Of course, it left. I got healed, supposedly healed. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's a form of white magic. So, people think white magic is good, but at the end of the day, it's connecting you to the evil side of whatever it is. So it's connecting you to the evilness. And now that I, think about the things that I've experienced in life, of course, that had to do something with, the things that I've done in life or the things that happened to me in life.
Right.
So, this is very interesting, y'all.
It is.
Kimberly, like, wow, dang. So, but now, it's good to go back in time and think about your past, because then the things that happened in your past teach you why the things are happening now or those type of things. So, the next one. I
have a question for you. So, during, what age were you then? Did you, know that was happening?
Well, I remember, I probably was about 5 or 6, maybe younger when all of this stuff was happening. So I don't remember these things. I remember, my dad was here with us. He came to the United States with my mom, I believe, illegally, all of them were illegal. So he was here, and she would tell me stories about him, literally running to the hospital barefoot when I would faint. And I think, when I'm thinking about it, I remember a little, like a little picture. Pictures
Right,
go through
yeah.
your mind. And I remember being in his arms and him running to the hospital. Like,
Oh,
once she
wow.
told me the story, like, it clicks in my head. And sometimes I remember those little images. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, okay, so
crazy.
then we're going to fast forward to elementary school. So as I was growing up, of course, I got bullied because I didn't know how to speak English. And I don't know what it is with people, but whenever they hear someone speaking a language that they don't understand, they just want to bully you. Like,
Right.
don't bully me. So I remember going through elementary school, most of my elementary school being bullied because I didn't know the language. I didn't know how to speak English. And I was a black girl, so everybody just, they just thought that I was going to speak English. No, I speak Spanish. I don't understand what you're saying. And my teachers, they were like literally have attitudes with me because like they would like repeat stuff to me and I would be like, I don't
You don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. So elementary school, not knowing English, getting bullied. Growing up, I had to take the role of the man in the house because my father ended up getting deported. So he came over here, he ended up getting deported, and so I was left with my mom. So it was just me and my mom. So basically, I had to take the role of the man in the house. Basically, whenever there was technology issues, I would be the one having to fix the computers. Whenever we had new furniture, I would be the one having to put the furniture together.
Wow.
So all of those things happened. And of course, my mom had another child, so she had my baby brother. And of course, I had to be the one to help take care of him. And so I had a lot of responsibility at a young age, and that's something that I didn't understand. Why was I going through all of these responsibilities at such a young age? Like, I'm supposed to be outside playing.
Right.
I'm supposed to be, living my life, and I'm over here changing diapers and doing these things. Like, what?
Putting furniture together and
Putting furniture together and all those things. So that's another why question that I ask myself. Like, why am I not a normal child, or why am I not, doing what normal kids do?
Right.
So then we went from elementary school, we're going to go to middle school. In middle school, of course, this is the phase where everyone tries to fit in, or it happened to me. I was in a public middle school, so I tried to fit in. When you try to fit in, of course, you're going to start being rebellious. So I remember that I used to see my friends wearing some things, and then I used to tell my mom, hey, I want to wear this, or I want to buy this stuff, and she would tell me no. And of course, that's where rebellion comes in, because you're like, but why, if this is what they're doing, why you don't want me to do it?
Their parents let them.
Their parents let them do this, so why are you not letting me do this? So this is where the rebellious stage in my life started to come out. I used to lie to my mom. I used to take clothes in my book bag and change at school.
Oh, well.
Like, I used to, take my friends' clothes, change at school, all that stuff just to try to fit in. And, of course, I used to lie to my mom a lot, about little stuff, things that I didn't have to lie about. And I would lie to her all the time. But, it's that you're doing something wrong, but you continue to do it.
Right.
And I would ask myself, why am I doing this if I know it's wrong? I know I'm doing something wrong. Why am I still doing this? And I remember that used to be the little thought in my head. But I used to continue to do it. So that's middle school. High school. High school, I was basically the leader of, so basically I was doing cheerleading in middle school, but I was in more trouble than anything in middle school. My grades were still good, but I was always in trouble. Now, when I went to high school, I didn't get in trouble much. I was the leader of different organizations. I had great grades. Well, I had great grades since elementary school. My mom didn't play that. She didn't play that. Even though I was being bad, I was doing my work. She didn't play that. So I had great grades. I was basically almost the leader of every organization when I got into high school. But high school was the point in my life where I started to do basically grown-up things. And when I say grown-up things, I mean things trying, substances that we're not supposed to be trying.
Right.
So in high school was when I basically smoked marijuana for the first time. And started to do things, that I know that I shouldn't have done, but, it just happened. And at this point, also in high school, like I said, I was always the one that took care of my brother, so I had to take him to school, bring him to school, bring him back home. If he needed to buy something for a project, I was the one that had to take him to the store. I was the one that made sure he showered. And not that my mom wasn't there, she was in our lives, but she was working most of the time. So I remember when I was maybe 10 years old, that's when we started being left at home by ourselves. And of course, I had to be the big sister, and I had to be the one to take care of us because, you know, she didn't have anyone else to take care of us. So, not that she wasn't in our lives, she just had to work, and I mean, she didn't have any other choice.
Right.
So I was basically the mother. I had to take the role. Whenever and it's funny because his teachers still call me.
Oh, wow.
I don't even live with my mom anymore, but his teachers still call me and be like, hey, Angelo needs to do this. And I'm like, call my mom.
Right.
And they're like, no, but we know you gonna handle it. And so it's funny because they still call me till this day. And we're going to continue to go because I've been talking for too long. Okay, so then, okay. So then this is the time after high school. Well, not after high school. During high school, this is when I basically started to want to get in a closer relationship with God. So this is when I basically, so you think about the things that you do in your life and you think, okay, this is not the way that I want my life to continue to go. This is not the things that I want to continue to do in my life. And so you want to find something better for you. I never grew up in a household that went to church every Sunday, read the Bible all the time. No, but I knew once in a while I would go to church and I knew, okay, this is God. Like, God is the person that forces us to do good. That's how I thought God was. I always thought, God, okay, whenever we go to church, we got to be good. We got to sit here in our chair, act like we're just perfect. That's how I looked at, the whole church setting. But then it comes to a time where basically you just understand, okay, this is not how I need to be living my life. I'm doing bad things, so I need to go ahead and switch over to the good thing. And I know that good things are in church.
Right.
So that's how I put, in my head. That's how I did it. I said it. And so it came to a time in my life where I was like, okay, I need to find something better for myself. I need to see, I need to let go of all of these things that I'm doing here because they're not bringing happiness to my life. I'm not getting anywhere. So this is when I started basically trying to have a relationship with God.
Yes.
I came to Abridores del Camino, and of course, in the beginning, it's not all roses and cherries. No, it's not. It's not like that in the beginning. In the beginning, we were going, but I was still back in the world, but I was still going to church. It was like, going back and forth. But I made the step. I got my foot into, the place where I knew that I needed to be. It wasn't easy, but I knew I needed to be there. So in high school was when my journey with my relationship with God started, and that's when I started changing a lot of the things that I was doing in my life. And of course, that brings persecution. And I remember that when, I used to stop going to parties with my friends. I used to stop doing the things that they would do. And of course, they would say, why are you changing? Why are you trying to act all good now? Why are you trying to act all holy now? And they would tell me that. And I would be like, okay, y'all don't want me to change. Y'all don't want me to do better with my life.
Myself.
Like, y'all don't want that. And I understood. You're trying, sometimes when you're trying to do better or when you're trying to do good, there's people that hold you back. And I understood that. And so at some point, I understood, okay, y'all are not going to help me anymore. I have to stop, surrounding myself with those people because they're not going to help me change or they're not going to help me get into a different level in my life.
All right.
And so that's what happened in high school. After high school, I went to college. College was a funny experience, and it was a life-changing experience as well. Because when I went to college, I went determined that I wasn't going to corrupt myself because I already knew if I went to college, if I went to parties, if I went to go do all of these things that college people do, I was going to basically backtrack in the relationship or in the things that I did with the relationship that I had developed with God.
Yeah.
So I went to college determined, and I was like, I'm not gonna do these things because college life, I'm telling y'all see everything. Like, college life is no joke. And I was on campus. I was in the HBCU, which is an all-black college, and black people, them folks can party. So it was literally a party every night, and I had the discipline, and I don't know where that came from. I don't know how, because I know, and I remember back in whenever I would have been doing all of these things that my friends were doing. Right. And I just feel like that my relationship with God basically gave me that discipline. And of course, it wasn't easy. Of course, you know, you have temptations. Of course, you want to go and do the things that everyone else is doing because you feel like an outcast. You feel like, oh, okay, I'm alone. But no, like, I'm thankful that I didn't do any of those things. I value that I didn't do any of those things. I'm appreciative, and I really thank God that I didn't do any of those things, because I know how it would have felt, you know, to come back home or to come back to church and have to feel that guilt, or have to, you know, not even come back to church, because God sees everything that we do. So, you know, having to stand in front of God or try to pray and just knowing that you did something that you were, you know, that you weren't supposed to do. So that was a little bit of my life up to now. Now I'm starting the nursing school, so it's a little hectic now because I have a lot of assignments and things to do, but that's what I wanted. I'm gonna, you know, speak about what this has taught me, but just wanted to know if you wanted to say anything or ask me any questions or anything.
No, yeah, like throughout, like the whole, well, that was a lot. You
a
went
lot.
through a lot. Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, like sometimes we don't see how in the end, you know, like, you know, what God is gonna do with us or His plan for us. And so, I don't know, I really admire your story.
So I'm gonna just explain some of the things that these situations in my life taught me, and then I'm gonna leave it over to Kimberly so she can share some of her stuff, because I've been literally talking for 20 minutes, y'all.
Right.
So I explained to you all how I had a lot of responsibilities growing up, and I feel like the responsibilities that I had when I was younger, let's say taking care of my brother, I feel like now that I'm at the age that I'm at, those things taught me or matured me at an early age, so that now I know how to handle some things.
Right.
So now I have responsibilities, and I know how to manage, like I know how to prioritize things. I know how to be responsible in a lot of areas where people my age are not responsible. People my age are, let's say they're going late to work, or they're getting late to college classes, like just things that, you know, they're not mature. They're just being children. And so I feel like the responsibilities that I had really showed me, now that I'm older, they really showed me what it is to basically live a good life, or live a life that's responsible and that's straightforward. The other thing, the fitting in part of my life, which was the middle school part where I was trying to fit in with everyone. At that time, of course, I didn't have an identity. But I value that time that I had, because now that I do have an identity, I understand and I value everything that I went through, because now I can look back and say, okay, these are the things that happen when you don't have an identity. And I can speak to people about these situations. I can speak to a person that is struggling with fitting in school, because I've done it before. So sometimes the things that we experience in life, everything that we experience in life is a form of a testimony that we can speak to about, or speak to people about that are going through the same things that we went through. So of course, nothing that we go through is for no reason. Nothing that we go through should be forgotten or should be ignored, because those experiences or those situations that we've gone through, we have the right, or we have the power to speak to someone that's going through that and maybe change, you know, their lives, maybe change something that they may be going through. And then I feel like the responsibility that I took on with taking care of my brother at a young age is really what sparked my passion, or sparked my, let's say, love for helping people. Because now, like, I used to sacrifice a lot of stuff for my brother, or I used to sacrifice a lot of, let's say, activities. Let's say my friends wanted to go out because I knew I had to take care of him. So I feel like God taught me in that situation to be selfless. To basically not be so intertwined with how I feel or about myself, but to help the people around me, or to help more people on the outside, I guess, more people, more of my family members, and more people, instead of helping myself, or instead of focusing on myself. So I feel like that taught me how to be selfless. God was teaching me how to be selfless in that situation. And I feel like that was what sparked my passion to also become a nurse. Now I'm studying nursing, and I feel like that is part of the reason why I want to become a nurse, because I understood the sacrifice, and I understood how helping people, you know, it makes helping people just, I help a lot of people, and it just makes me feel good when I know that I was able to help someone, or I know that I was able to share something with someone and it helped them in their life in any way.
Yes.
So those are the why, the questions that I ask myself, why me? And now that I'm older, I understand that these things happen to me because of this, and this is why I'm in life now, or this is why this is happening in my life now, because now I understand why God allowed me to go through these things.
Right.
So that's just a little bit of my story, y'all. Well, not a little bit. I was
That's
talking for a while, y'all.
Right. That was most of your life.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of my life, my story. So it all began like with my parents divorcing. It's been like probably since I was 6 years old up to 16, 17, and they recently just got back together.
Hey!
So
yes.
I would see that a lot because, like, you know, when I was younger, it would be like place to place, like,
right.
oh, we're moving over here now. And, you know, I was kind of like, why are we moving over here now? Like, and so my dad would pick me up weekends and whatnot. And so that's something that, like, really affected me growing up from ages, like, 6 up to 17. So after, you know, I grew up a little bit, you know, my parents have always been involved in church, you know, always try to get me, you know, involved in church and everything. So I can't say I never did, you know, they never set the example for me.
Right.
So around probably like age 13, when you start, you know, like having more, knowing more and understanding more, you know, I was in like, I fell into depression and anxiety, and it was just a lot. So, you know, you start trying to find ways to like forget about it and stuff. So you start hanging out. I had a group of friends, you know, I had a little group of friends. And so they were good, you know, I had the support that I wanted and needed. But then later on, you know, probably around 13 to like 15, you know, they're there, supportive, their families and everything. So then later on, probably like 16 and older, 15 and up, that's when they, you know, they started partying and, oh, you want to do this.
Started doing the more grown-up stuff.
Right, started doing the more grown-up stuff. Things that was not even, that was illegal that's like underage, like, why?
Right.
You know? And so I fell into depression, and I just felt like kind of alone because of the fact that my parents were divorced, you know.
Even though you had all of those friends.
Right, even though I had all of those friends, you still don't have that one person that, you know, you truly need.
Right.
And then so what happened was, so I started partying and all this stuff, started lying to my parents. You know, I'm going with my friend when it really wasn't my friend, you know, it's probably hang out with a little boy at the movies and stuff like that, you know. So I started lying. Then during that time, probably like 11th grade, I was starting to skip school, you know, starting to like try and, you know, I actually went to public school. I wanted, because I've always been in private school, like my parents have always had me in either.
And mine is the total opposite.
Right.
I've always been in public school, and my high school was when I got into private school.
Yeah, and so I was, for the same reason of, you know, me not doing what I wasn't supposed to do, they put me in private. And so I never understood, and I was always like, okay, like, can I go to public school? Can I please, you know, just get that experience? So I started going to public school, and first day there's like a bunch of fights, and I'm like,
God.
oh, no, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I was expecting. You know, I expected, you know, like a little friendly environment, like more friends.
So did you ask yourself why, like, okay, this is not what I wanted in the time or in that first day that it happened, or now that you're thinking back on it?
Now that I think back on it, it's like, you know, we don't think about what our parents want for us.
Exactly.
You know, they wanted me to have, you know, a good education, good, you know, grades, like a stable future, you know, build a stable future for myself. But no, I wanted, and then now I'm even like, hopefully in the future, I'm like, what's it called? Wealthy enough to have my children in public school.
Exactly.
Private,
now that you understand everything that your parents sacrificed, now you want the
Right.
better for your children.
Right.
But of course, when we're younger, we don't understand that stuff. We just want to.
We don't. We just want to go. We just want to party, have friends, and all that.
Have fun. Things that we think are fun, but they're not
really
fun at the end.
And then in the end, so I was trying to get into dual enrollment. That's like something you should really take advantage of. And so I didn't because, I started smoking and doing things that I was not supposed to do. So all that, just took me off track of doing dual enrollment, all my goals and stuff. Everything just started falling apart. And that's when I was like, why is this happening to me?
Exactly.
But it was really because, now I understand it was because of the decisions I was making, the people. And then slowly, like around when I was 15, all of my group of friends, they started getting pregnant.
Oh, Lord.
And that's when, I don't know, like my eyes just really like opened. I was like, this is not what I want to do. They're like 16-year-olds, right, 16-year-old getting pregnant and then having to tell your parents is probably like, it was very heartbreaking to, see it happen.
Exactly. And now, they're not able to, well, some people still, even when they have children, they can still, get back on track and get their education. But most of them, they use the child as an excuse.
Right.
Or, you have a child now to take care of.
That's a whole, like, responsibility.
Exactly. You can't handle, or you can't go to school how you want to because now you got another, life to have to take care of.
Right. And then all your time goes into having to work to provide for your child or whatnot. So, that's something that, I was very thankful to God because it didn't happen to me.
Exactly.
And so after that, one by one, they fell apart. We all fell apart. And I was, I just felt left out. That's when I also felt lonely. I was like, I don't have anybody, and then, so that's when I continued to use, marijuana and stuff. And so there was a time where I was at a park, I was just chilling at a park, had my little substance with me, and I was about to, it could have been worse, honestly. I was about to smoke. And so an undercover literally, like, pulls up next to me. And I'm sitting there like, should I smoke or not, And I see, like, a bunch of cops driving by. So it's kind of, like, planned, And this is, like, where I felt like, wow, like, is this what my life has come to, So I didn't smoke. So then next thing you know, the undercover comes up to my window. I didn't even put it down. I had my pepper spray ready. I was like, nothing is that happening to me. So I put the window down. I'm just like a little bit. And I'm like, hey. He's like, hey, what you doing here? I was like, nothing. I was just chilling here, getting ready to go. I just had to stop by.
The lies.
Right, the lies. Just lie after lie. The lies just started and kept going. And then so there was another car full of people. They were smoking as well. But it was like a group of them. And so after that, they came to me, and I was about to leave, and they blocked me and stuff. And that's when they told me to step out the car, searched me, and I had marijuana on me. And so I actually got locked up, so it was very, crazy.
Kimberly in jail, y'all?
Kimberly in big girl jail. It was not juvenile. It was, I was 17 years old, so I was just like, wow. Probably one of the youngest there.
Wow.
But it was really something like, that's where, it had to give for me to, actually open my eyes and be like, wow, like, maybe what if it wouldn't have been an undercover that came up next to me?
Exactly.
And it was somebody, who was trying to kidnap me or probably just kill me, something worse.
Yeah.
So, once I got out, that just really, like, opened my eyes. And I was like,
I feel like God sometimes puts us through things that, sometimes we're stubborn. We don't He tries to make it easy for us to seek him, but sometimes, things just has to happen for us to be able to open our eyes and understand, okay, this is not how I need to live. And of course, everyone wants, of course, we want it all the easy way.
Right.
And sometimes it just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, so it was just like a lot. And then now, I would see how my dad, like, he was always, because I lived with my dad at the time of my parents divorcing. I lived with my dad, and like he just wanted his family, like that's all he wanted. So he just never gave up, and that's something that really impacted me, because in the end, he got his family.
Exactly.
Like I would see him. We have like a little living room, like a little theater room kind of, and it would be like 3, 4 in the morning, and you'd see him there praying, and it was just like, wow, like. So then I started. I'm getting a little emotional.
Okay. Cry.
So, right, let it out, girl.
Right.
So then I would see him there day and night, and then so I started joining him. And it was like, that's when I just felt like, okay, God is really like telling me to leave all that, leave
Exactly.
leave that double life and just, come to him. And so after that, that's when I just really, everything started coming together. But like throughout the whole situation, I was like, why me, like, why does this have to happen to me?
This is not what I planned.
Right, this is not what I planned. And I didn't, I didn't blame the situation on, my parents divorcing.
Yeah.
But, you do go through it sometimes where you just feel like you don't have anybody,
And you feel like, okay, if this didn't happen, then I probably wouldn't have been going through these things. So you don't blame it on them, but you just think if it would have been different.
Right, yeah. And so, I don't know, I'm just very thankful, like, for everything. At the end of the day, I'm glad that I had to go through everything.
Exactly.
And yeah, so that's a little bit of me.
That was a very powerful story.
Right.
Less than mine. I think I wrote too much information, but it's okay. I went into too much detail. But that's good and powerful to hear that story from you. It's good to hear people's stories and the things that they've experienced in life, because everything teaches us something. We might not have gone through exactly what I might have not gone through exactly what you have gone through, but I learned.
Right, someone else, like maybe someone else needs to hear this to learn from that, to avoid that, or yes.
So we are 3:50.
Right.
It's 3:50 already. The time passes so fast, y'all.
Right.
But we were, happy and glad to be able to share these experiences with you all, and what we've learned from our experiences. So if anyone is watching us, and if you may be going through a trial or any type of tribulation at this moment, I hope that what we've shared today, impacted you or changed any perception or thoughts in your mind that you may have been going through. And I think that's all. I think we've shared how we've looked at these situations that have gone in our lives or have happened in our lives, what they have taught us, and how nothing happens for no reason. Everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
We might, think it's unnecessary or, just something that's happening, but everything teaches us something. No matter what it is, even though we sometimes feel like we're going through the worst situation in our lives, we're going to get through it. We're going to pass through it. We're going to level up. We're going to go to another stage in our lives. And everything depends on our outlook on it. Everything depends on how we react to the situations that we're going through. Because some people just totally shut down whenever they're going through, a situation or an experience. And some people can smile through, a trial, or they can smile through a problem that they're having. So we just have to, I think God wants us to be that person that smiles through those situations, those trials that we have, because, he's teaching us, like we said, a trial is a test of faith. He's teaching us to trust in him. He's teaching us to basically keep our heads up whenever we're going through things that we don't understand, because
Yes.
you know, we don't understand what we're going through, but he knows everything. He understands. He knows why we're going through those things. And so we just have to take some time to just sit down and just reflect and, you know, just think about it.
Yeah, and it also reminds me of the story of Job. Yeah, you know how, you know, everything was taken away from him. You know,
Exactly.
he lost everything, but his faith still remained.
Exactly.
Even after, you know, the closest people to him were even like, you know, trying to get him to just let it go, but no.
And he never blamed God for any
Right.
of the things that happened to him. Like, he continued to, you know, just trust in him. He continued to understand that this, you know, God is doing something for a reason.
Right.
And so I think that is all, y'all. I think we're
is
going to leave you
it.
all today. Thank you all again for joining our Wise Youth Unplugged today. We're going to be here every Saturday at 3. It's going to be different people. We're going to have different topics, different members of our youth. We're going to be sharing more stories with you all and all those things. So please hit the little bell on YouTube so that you can get the notifications every time we go live. And we're just going to end with a prayer. Kimberly, you want to end with a little prayer for us?
Yes, I will. Okay, thank you, God, for another day. Thank you for allowing us to be here and giving us another chance.
Yes.
We ask that you, that this word touch everyone's heart, you know, that it speak to people who really needed it, and that you continue to, you know, help us and bless our lives and our families, Lord. We ask you that you give us strength to get through our situations and our trials, and that we know that at the end of the day, everything is going to be okay.
Yes.
We ask you that you, we ask you for those people that couldn't log on, that they watch it later.
Yes.
And for those that did, Father God, we ask you that it speaks to them in their heart. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all for watching
Thank you
again.
so much.